You were 17 at the time when you guys
Yes.
linked up. How old was Marvin?
He was 33.
Wow, okay.
Marvin Gaye was a musical legend, but his love life, a full-blown soap opera. The man had a thing for intense, complicated relationships, and every woman in his life had a story to tell. From his rocky marriage to Anna Gordy.
First, I must thank God for all of the God-given talent that he gave Marvin.
To his rumored affairs with his duet partners, Tammy Tarrell and Mary Wells. All the way to his whirlwind romance with Janis Hunter.
And by the time I met Marvin, I had just turned 17.
Puppy love to the 15th power at 16 years old, huh?
Well, to the, 17th power.
And even a secret affair with a British aristocrat. Marvin's love life was just as dramatic as his music. Let's break down every woman Marvin Gaye had an affair with and the messy, passionate, and sometimes shocking stories behind them.
First, I must thank God for all of the God-given talent that he gave Marvin.
Anna Gordy Gaye was an important woman in Marvin Gaye's life. She was the sister of Berry Gordy, the man who started Motown Records.
The opportunity that our uncle and brother, Berry Gordy, was able to supply to Marvin.
Marvin was a rising music star, and Anna was already a successful woman in the music business. They fell in love and got married in 1963, even though there was a big age difference. Anna was 17 years older than Marvin, but that didn't stop their love story from happening. However, their marriage was full of problems, and after many years of ups and downs, they finally divorced in 1977. At first, their relationship was strong. Anna was smart, independent, and confident. She helped Marvin with his music career, giving him advice and support. They adopted a son, Marvin Gaye III, and for a while, they seemed happy.
On behalf of the entire Gaye-Gordy family, it brings me a great privilege and a terrific honor to accept this award from my father.
But things started to change as time went on. Marvin's career was growing fast, and he started feeling restless in the marriage. He wanted more freedom, and that created problems between them. Also, the couple struggled to have children. They ended up adopting a baby boy, Marvin III. However, the story behind this adoption was anything but simple. The child's biological mother, Janice Gordy, was Anna's niece. She was only 16 when she gave birth, and it was later revealed in a book by Michael Eric Dyson, Mercy, Mercy Me, The Art, Loves, and Demons of Marvin Gaye, that Marvin Gaye himself was the biological father of the child. The situation was shocking. Denise was underage at the time Marvin had a relationship with her. Marvin kept this a secret for many years, probably because admitting it could have caused him legal problems. He never publicly confirmed that he was the father of Marvin III, but the revelation still caused controversy. Marvin met a young woman named Janis Hunter when he was recording his album Let's Get It On in 1973. She was only 17, while Marvin was 34, the same 17-year age difference he had with Anna. He became deeply involved with Janice, even though he was still married to Anna. Their affair was well known, and Anna was hurt by his actions. Their fights became more serious over time. Marvin started using drugs, which made his behavior even more unpredictable. He would push Anna away, but at the same time, he didn't want to lose her. Anna finally decided she could not continue in such a troubled relationship. The divorce process was long and difficult, filled with anger and legal battles. It was finalized in 1977, ending their marriage officially. And next is an affair-turned-marriage with Janis Hunter.
And by the time I met Marvin, I had just turned 17.
Puppy love to the 15th power at 16 years old, huh?
Well, to the, 17th power.
One of the most talked about parts of his life was his relationship with Janis Hunter, a young girl who fell in love with him when she was just 17 years old. Marvin was much older, and their relationship was complicated. At first, Janice believed they were in love, but over time, she realized that Marvin was not just a caring partner. He was also controlling and jealous.
So I can't really single out one chapter that was more difficult than the other. They were difficult for different reasons.
Marvin wanted Janice all to himself. He did not want her around boys her age. He even asked her to leave high school so they could spend all their time together. He told her he could teach her everything she needed to know, saying he would be more loving and patient than any teacher at her school. But soon, she saw another side of Marvin. He enjoyed drama. He liked seeing people around him in emotional pain. He created problems just to watch how people would react. Not long after this, Janice became pregnant. Marvin was happy, but only because he wanted a son. He never considered that the baby could be a girl. Janice had a miscarriage, and Marvin tried to comfort her by saying, "Next time, God will bless us with a healthy boy." When Janice turned 18, she became a mother. She gave birth to a daughter, Nona, in 1974. But instead of being happy, she felt guilty. She apologized to Marvin for having a girl as if it was her fault. That showed how much control Marvin had over her mind.
You were 17 at the time when you guys
Yes.
linked up. How old was Marvin?
He was 33.
Wow. Okay.
Even though Janice had just given birth, Marvin started criticizing her body. He did not like the stretch marks she got from pregnancy. He told her, "Surely there's a way to get rid of those things." This made Janice feel bad about herself. She had given him a child, yet he made her feel unattractive. But that did not stop Marvin from getting her pregnant again. The next year, they had a son, Frankie. This time, Marvin was happy because he finally had the boy he wanted. Janice loved Marvin, but she could not ignore how toxic their relationship had become. He was much older, controlling, and addicted to drama. He made her feel guilty for things she could not control. He did not want her to have a life outside of him. She had once thought they were in love, but now she was starting to see the truth. Their relationship was not healthy. It was built on control, jealousy, and manipulation.
I was no saint, but at the same time, Marvin was a man. He was a human being who had flaws, just like we all do.
Marvin and Janice often partied with famous people, like Richard Pryor. One night, Richard invited them to watch bikini dancers having sex with each other. Janice felt uncomfortable but went along with it. Another time, Richard got so high on cocaine that he hit his wife over the head with a wine bottle and cursed at everyone at the table except Janice. Marvin found it funny and told her she should be flattered. Marvin had a strange habit of pushing Janice toward other men. He seemed to enjoy watching her with someone else, but at the same time, he would get jealous. One of the men he pushed her toward was Frankie Beverly, the lead singer of Maids.
It was a time where drugs were not as taboo as they are today.
Right.
And sex definitely was not.
Was at the forefront. It was very open.
It was,
Marvin wasn't kind to Janice. Even after they got married, he told her that he loved her but wasn't in love with her. He made comments about her body, calling her breasts saggy and making her feel insecure. He also had a habit of planning family vacations, but leaving without Janice and the kids. Then he would call and beg them to join him later. He enjoyed making her feel unwanted and then pulling her back in. Marvin and Janice had violent fights. One of the worst happened while he was driving with their children in the car. He started swerving the steering wheel dangerously, scaring everyone. Their relationship was toxic, filled with drugs, manipulation, and emotional abuse. After Marvin's death, both Anna and Janice had to deal with their memories of him. Despite all the pain, Anna still had love for Marvin. She kept many pictures and memorabilia of him in her home.
we did have unconditional love for each other, but we were still human beings.
Yeah.
We weren't superhuman. We had our flaws and our challenges.
Years after their divorce, Janice visited Anna's house for a documentary about Marvin. At first, she was unsure about meeting Anna, but when she arrived, Anna was kind and respectful. Janice apologized to Anna for anything she had done to hurt her. Anna responded saying, "You never did anything to hurt me." It was a moment of peace between two women who had loved the same man. Anna Gordy Gaye passed away in 2014 at the age of 92. She had lived a long life, full of ups and downs. Janice passed away on December 7, 2022 at the age of 66. Also during the 1960s, he recorded music with some of the best female singers of the time. Because of his close work with them, rumors started that he was dating some of his duet partners. Two of the most talked about names were Mary Wells and Kim Weston. However, both women denied any romantic relationship with him. They insisted that their connection was only professional. Mary Wells was one of Motown's first big stars. She recorded many hits, and her voice was loved by fans. In 1964, she worked with Marvin Gaye on a duet album called Together. The album did well, reaching #1. 42 on the pop charts, 2 songs from the album, Once Upon a Time, and What's the Matter with You, Baby, became popular and reached the top 20. Because they sounded so good together, people thought there was more between them than just music. But Mary Wells said they were just singing partners, not a couple. Around the same time, Marvin Gaye was becoming even more famous. He had a big hit with How Sweet It Is, To Be Loved by You, which reached #1, 6 on the charts. This song helped him get more attention on TV. He performed on shows like American Bandstand and even appeared in a concert movie called The TAMI Show. He continued to have success in 1965 with 2 big songs, I'll Be Doggone and Ain't That Peculiar. These songs became #1, one on the R&B charts and sold millions of copies. While Marvin's career was rising, Mary Wells was having problems with Motown. She had signed her contract when she was only 17 years old, and later, she wanted more money for her work. She took Motown to court to fight for her fair share of the royalties. After months of legal trouble, she won the case. The court agreed that her contract was not valid because she was underage when she signed it. After leaving Motown, she signed a big contract with 20th Century Fox Records. Kim Weston was another talented singer who worked with Marvin Gaye. In 1966, they recorded the hit song It Takes Two. The song became very popular, and their voices blended beautifully. Just like with Mary Wells, people started wondering if there was something romantic between them. But Kim Weston made it clear that she and Marvin were only friends. They had great chemistry in music, but there was no romance between them. Kim Weston had her own issues with Motown. Even though It Takes Two was a big success, she left the label in 1967. Later, she sued Motown because she believed she was not paid fairly for her work. She continued making music and became well known for her version of Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is often called the Black National Anthem. Marvin Gaye and Tammy Tarrell had a very close bond. Many people thought they were in love, but there is no real proof of that. Most people believe they were just very good friends. They had great chemistry when they sang together, which made their duets very special. They started performing together in 1967. Tammy helped Marvin feel more comfortable on stage because he was shy and did not like performing live. They sang many hit songs together and even appeared on TV shows. People loved them as a duo, and their music became very popular. Tammy's health started to get worse, but she still tried to perform. In 1969, she made her last public appearance at the Apollo Theater. When Marvin saw her in the audience, he went to her and they sang, "You're All I Need to Get By." You're all I need to get by. The crowd loved it and gave them a big standing ovation. When Tammy passed away, Marvin was heartbroken. He couldn't sleep and cried a lot. He later said he felt lost and very sad. He was the only person allowed to attend her funeral. Losing her changed him forever. Next is an affair with a British socialite. Marvin Gaye had a romantic relationship with a British socialite named Lady Edith Foxwell. She was a rich and well-known woman in England. She ran the Embassy Club in Mayfair, a famous nightclub in London that attracted many celebrities. Marvin Gaye was one of the regular guests at her estate in Shurston, Wiltshire. They spent a lot of time together, and their relationship became serious. Some people say that Marvin and Lady Edith talked about getting married. She was deeply in love with him, and he cared for her too. Their relationship was exciting, but it was also full of problems. Marvin was going through a lot in his personal life. He had many struggles, including money troubles and issues with his family. These problems put a lot of stress on him, and this stress affected Lady Edith too. There were reports that Lady Edith became pregnant with Marvin's child. However, because of the emotional stress, she suffered a miscarriage. Losing the baby was heartbreaking for her. Marvin also felt deep sadness over the loss. Their relationship became even more difficult, and things were never the same between them after that. The relationship between Marvin and Lady Edith was later revealed in a magazine. A writer named Stan Hay shared the story in an article published in 2004. He mentioned that Lady Edith had told Bernard J. Taylor, a writer and composer, that she and Marvin had talked about marriage before his tragic death. Lady Edith's home became known for wild parties where famous people and rich aristocrats gathered. The parties were full of drugs and excitement. Marvin was often part of this world, but his life was filled with struggles that he could not escape.
And I was really broke, and things didn't look too good, so I was stuck in this forest and I couldn't see.
Marvin also struggled with money problems, so he agreed to go on a concert tour in Europe in 1981. He didn't really want to do it, but he needed the money.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you, I owed the government $4 million too, so that's enough to leave the country, you know.
After the tour, he decided to stay in Europe for 3 years. He did this to avoid paying taxes back in the United States. But no matter where he went, his problems followed him.
You owe the government $4 million.
I forgot to tell you that. I just want everybody to know why I got the heck out of Dodge.
While he was in Europe, Marvin met a woman named Eugenie Viss. She was a beautiful blonde woman who followed musicians and attended concerts. She and Marvin became close after one of his shows in Amsterdam. Eugenie was excited to be with him because he was a famous singer and a symbol. She thought their time together would be filled with passion and romance, but things didn't go as she had expected. Eugenie later said that Marvin was cold when they were together. He didn't show any love or warmth. She wanted affection, but he didn't give it to her. When she started crying because she felt unloved, Marvin couldn't continue. He became impotent, which made the situation even worse. She was heartbroken because she had hoped for something special with him. Marvin also introduced Eugenie to things she had never experienced before. She said he was very controlling in their relationship. He liked to be in charge and experiment with different things. He once brought a whip into their bedroom, though he didn't use it to hurt her. Another time, he asked her to sleep with other women while he watched. Eugenie said he had strange desires, but he never completely lost control. A woman named Pascal, who knew both of them, later said that Eugenie was completely heartbroken. She couldn't handle the pain of losing Marvin, and in the end, she took her own life. It was a tragic ending for a woman who had loved him so much. Marvin had a dark side that many people didn't know about. He sang beautiful love songs, but in his personal life, he treated women badly. He had learned this behavior from his father, who was also a He forced his lovers into situations that made them uncomfortable. He liked things that were unusual, controlling, and sometimes even degrading for the women involved. Marvin also had many personal struggles. He was addicted to and had an unhealthy obsession with. He often spent time alone, watching adult films and looking at magazines. He also had problems with stage fright, fear of flying, and jealousy. Gaye's final girlfriend was an Englishwoman named Deborah Decker. In 1984, Decker told Parade magazine that she carried Gaye's unborn child during Gaye's final year alive. When family tension became too much, Gaye moved her to an apartment in West Hollywood. Decker later miscarried Gaye's child. Jan was also involved in a major legal battle over Marvin's music. For Jan, this fight was personal. She was in the studio when Got to Give It Up was being made. She even sang background vocals on the song, along with Marvin's brother, Frankie. She remembered that recording process well. It was different from how Marvin usually worked. Instead of having everything planned, he just let the music flow. It felt like a jam session that lasted for days. He kept adding different sounds, experimenting with instruments, and layering voices. The result was a song that became an all-time classic. Jan believed that there was no other song in Marvin's collection quite like it. It was a true party song that would never go out of style. When Marvin Gaye passed away, he didn't leave behind much money or property. He had some debts, and his biggest asset was his music. This included the rights to his songs, his image, and his life story. Marvin did leave a will, but under California law, his 3 children were entitled to an equal share of his estate. However, before they could receive anything, all debts and taxes had to be paid. The people in charge of his estate worked hard to handle these issues. They made smart business decisions, using his music rights to bring in money. Over time, they not only cleared his debts, but also built a fortune. Because of this, Marvin's children continue to benefit from his legacy today. One major moment for Marvin's family came in 2013 when the hit song Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke, Pharrell Williams, and T.I. became a huge success. The Gaye family believed that the song copied Marvin's 1977 hit Got to Give It Up. The artist behind Blurred Lines took the case to court first, asking a judge to officially declare that they had not stolen Marvin's work. In response, Marvin's family filed their own lawsuit, claiming that the song did take elements from his music. This started a long and difficult legal battle. The case was complicated because of copyright laws. Marvin's children had inherited the rights to his songwriting, but not the actual recording of Got to Give It Up. This meant they couldn't play the original song in court as evidence. Instead, lawyers had to use sheet music and expert testimony to prove their case. Music experts compared both songs and found strong similarities. In 2015, a jury agreed with the Gaye family and ruled in their favor. The court ordered the artist behind Blurred Lines to pay $7.4 million. The amount was later confirmed on appeal. However, this did not include extra money made from concerts where the song was performed. Even though the lawsuit was tough, it was an important victory for Marvin's family. Despite these challenges, Marvin Gaye's children have managed to keep his memory alive. The people managing his estate made sure his music continued to bring in money. If Marvin had planned his estate better, his children could have inherited full control of his music rights. But even with the difficulties, his family has worked hard to protect his legacy. Marvin Gaye is often called the #1 soul singer because of his deep influence on music. He mixed different styles, such as rhythm and blues, gospel and pop, creating a unique sound. His impact was so strong that the New York Times described him as one of the most important artists in pop music history.